Rasheeda has just dropped a bombshell that has fans across the globe gasping in disbelief. In an exclusive, never-before-heard revelation, the Love and Hip Hop star claims that the producers forced her and her partner into faking their breakup for the cameras. That's right, what millions of viewers thought was raw, authentic emotion, Rasheeda now says was orchestrated behind the scenes. Emotions ran high as she spoke candidly, her voice shaking with both anger and frustration. "They didn't care about our lives," she said. "They made us act out pain that wasn't even real, just to boost ratings." Insiders confirm that tensions between Rasheeda and the production team had been simmering for months. But no one expected this level of betrayal. Sources close to the family say that after the so-called breakup scenes aired, Rasheeda was left questioning everything from her relationships to the trust she placed in the show that made her a household name. Friends revealed that she spent hours on the phone, confronting producers and even debating legal action. Meanwhile, fans are shocked, flooding social media with reactions ranging from support to outrage. Some claim this revelation explains a lot about the on-screen drama that seemed over the top, while others are now wondering if any moment on the show was ever real. The tension escalated when Rasheeda hinted at hidden footage that could expose the full extent of the manipulation. "You think you saw the truth? You didn't even scratch the surface," she warned, leaving fans desperate for more. Family members, caught in the crossfire, have reportedly taken sides, leaving the household divided. And just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any more intense, whispers of secret meetings, heated arguments, and behind-the-scenes power plays began to surface. Tonight, we dive into the shocking revelations from Rasheeda, the secret struggles of reality TV, and the emotional fallout that has fans talking. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will change the way you watch Love and Hip Hop forever. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided. And Rasheeda isn't holding back. Under the harsh glare of the studio lights, Rasheeda sat silently, her hands twisting the edge of her chair, mind racing. The cameras had stopped rolling, but the tension hung in the air like smoke from a long-forgotten fire. She could still hear the echo of the producers' instructions, their voices cold and calculated, directing her to fake the raw emotion she had never felt. "You need to make it convincing," one of them had snapped, the sharpness of the command cutting deeper than any argument she had ever faced in her personal life. She had tried to protest, tried to remind them that relationships weren't scripts to be manipulated, but her words had been brushed aside, dismissed as irrelevant to the ratings they were desperate to boost. Her phone buzzed constantly, messages pouring in from fans who had watched the scenes unfold, oblivious to the reality behind the camera. "I can't believe you left him," one message read. Another said, "How could you do that to your family?" The words stung more than she expected, because behind the facade she had been forced to wear, there had been no real breakup, no betrayal, only the relentless pressure of a machine designed to manufacture drama. She remembered the argument with her partner, the way their voices had raised, not in anger at each other, but in desperation against the manipulation that threatened to consume their lives. "This isn't us," she had said, pacing the room, her voice trembling with a mix of frustration and disbelief. "I can't pretend to feel this pain. It's not real." The producer's response had been a cold, measured stare. "Pain sells. Your fans need it. You need to deliver, Rasheeda." It was a moment of clarity and horror at once. The realization that the life she had been living under public scrutiny was nothing but a carefully constructed illusion. The more she resisted, the more they insisted, reminding her that contracts, obligations, and ratings were all that mattered. She had been a pawn in a game she had never agreed to play, and the weight of that truth pressed down on her chest. As she left the studio that evening, the neon lights outside reflecting her exhaustion, Rasheeda felt a wave of anger mixed with determination. She knew the public had no idea how deeply the producers had interfered in her personal life. The fake breakup had been just the beginning. Whispers of secret manipulations, altered scripts, and staged arguments had been circulating for months among insiders. But tonight, she realized she could no longer stay silent. The betrayal had cut too deep, and the need to reclaim her narrative burned fiercely inside her. Back at home, her family awaited her, unaware of the internal battle she had been fighting. Her partner tried to reach her, but she could barely meet his eyes. The scenes they had filmed replayed in her mind, every forced tear, every feigned argument, every manipulated reaction. "It's not real," she murmured, staring at the wall. "Nothing about it is real." Her siblings exchanged worried glances, sensing the storm brewing beneath her composed exterior, but unable to grasp the full scale of the deception. She felt trapped between the expectations of the show, the demands of the producers, and the very real emotions of those she loved. The next day, tensions escalated during a scheduled shoot. The producers, sensing her hesitation, tightened their grip, issuing precise instructions designed to provoke reactions. Rasheeda, remember, this is the scene where you discover his betrayal. Make it intense. Make them believe it, one producer commanded, his tone leaving no room for negotiation. Her partner, caught off guard, had no idea that the confrontation he thought was personal had been orchestrated for the cameras. Emotions ran high as he reacted genuinely, while she struggled to balance authenticity with the fabricated narrative. The cameras captured every flicker of doubt, every subtle shift in expression, and the producers nodded approvingly, oblivious to the turmoil they had created. After the scene wrapped, Rasheeda retreated to a quiet corner, her hands shaking. She dialed a friend, someone she trusted outside the chaotic world of reality television. "They made us fake everything," she whispered, her voice a mixture of disbelief and fury. "Every argument, every tear, every breakup scene, was all scripted, and people are cheering for it." Her friend's response was immediate, empathetic, and affirming, reminding her that the truth was hers to control, that her voice mattered more than any scene designed for ratings. The conversation gave her a glimmer of hope, a small ember of courage that began to ignite into a fire. Meanwhile, fans had started noticing inconsistencies in the episodes, subtle clues, moments that didn't quite align, scenes that felt slightly forced. Social media buzzed with speculation, hashtags trending as viewers debated whether Rasheeda's breakup had been genuine. Some fans defended her, expressing frustration at the producer's manipulation, while others remained convinced of the on-screen narrative. Rasheeda watched from afar, a mix of anxiety and resolve building within her. She knew it was only a matter of time before the truth would have to come out, before she would be forced to confront not just the producers, but the public perception of her life. In private moments, she reflected on the complexity of her emotions. Anger intertwined with sadness, betrayal mingled with resilience. She thought about the countless hours spent in front of cameras, performing pain that wasn't hers, and the impact it had on her mental health. Late nights were the hardest, when the world slept unaware of the pressure, and she was left alone with the echoing voices of production, demanding tears, demanding outrage, demanding a performance that felt like a violation of her own identity. Her partner, though deeply hurt by the public perception, began to understand the layers of deception. Private conversations revealed the full scope of the manipulation, and together they navigated a path between exposing the truth and maintaining some semblance of normalcy. Family members, once skeptical of the exaggerated scenes they saw on television, began to realize that their loved one had been caught in a web of deceit, a reality constructed not for authenticity, but for entertainment. The family was left divided, some frustrated at Rasheeda for participating, others enraged at the producers who had orchestrated the entire ordeal. Every step she took toward reclaiming her narrative was met with resistance. The producers, aware of her growing frustration, tried to contain the story, issuing warnings and subtle threats. "Remember your contract," they reminded her, their words dripping with authority. But Rasheeda's resolve had solidified. She could no longer endure the manipulation silently. She started documenting everything, recording conversations, keeping notes, and gathering evidence that would one day reveal the truth behind the scenes. Each piece of information became a weapon, a tool to reclaim control over her own story. As days turned into weeks, the intensity of the production's demands showed no signs of waning. Scenes were repeated multiple times, emotions heightened artificially, and every action was scrutinized for maximum effect on the audience. Rasheeda felt herself teetering on the edge, the lines between performance and reality blurring. Her partner struggled alongside her, navigating the fine line between authentic emotion and fabricated drama. Their interactions, once private and genuine, had been transformed into a spectacle for viewers who remained unaware of the manipulation behind the curtain. One night, after a particularly grueling day on set, Rasheeda sat in her car, staring at the dashboard, tears streaming freely for the first time since the saga began. The weight of the deception, the pressure to perform, and the isolation from true support had finally overwhelmed her. She realized that she could no longer separate herself from the persona the producers had created. The anger simmered beneath her exhaustion, and a single thought echoed relentlessly: enough. And with that determination, she made a decision that would change the course of her journey. She would speak out. She would reveal the truth, not only for herself, but for her partner, her family, and the fans who deserved to know the reality behind the manufactured drama. The fire that had been kindled in private conversations, in stolen moments of reflection, now roared into action. Rasheeda was ready to confront the producers, to reclaim her narrative, and to show the world that what they had been fed was nothing more than a performance engineered for shock value and ratings. The following morning, the atmosphere on set was electric. Whispers spread among the crew. Subtle glances exchanged as everyone sensed the shift in Rasheeda's demeanor. She walked onto the set with a confidence that startled even the producers. Her eyes locked with theirs in a silent declaration of defiance. Every instruction, every suggestion, every manipulation would be met with scrutiny. She was no longer just an actor in their game. She was a force, determined to expose the machinery behind the manufactured reality. As cameras rolled, Rasheeda maintained the facade for the scene, but internally, she was plotting the revelation that would shake the very foundations of the show. Each scripted line was a step closer to the truth, each forced tear a reminder of what she intended to expose. The tension was palpable, emotions ran high, and the energy on set became almost electric. The producers noticed the change, but underestimated the depth of her resolve. They assumed compliance. But Rasheeda had already decided that this performance would serve a different purpose, one that the audience could never have anticipated. Fans online continued to speculate, oblivious to the internal war unfolding behind the cameras. Social media threads exploded with theories, debates, and reactions, some supportive, some incredulous. Did she really mean it? They asked. Was it all fake? The questions multiplied as viewers sensed subtle cracks in the narrative. Moments where Rasheeda's authenticity peeked through the carefully constructed scenes. Every comment, every reaction, only fueled her determination to ensure that the truth would not be buried beneath layers of scripted drama. With each passing day, the stakes grew higher. Production meetings grew tense, private confrontations intensified, and the pressure to maintain appearances threatened to overwhelm her once again. But Rasheeda had discovered a new strength, a sense of purpose that transcended fear. She knew that exposing the manipulation would not only reclaim her story, but also empower others trapped in similar situations, forced to perform lives that weren't truly theirs. The journey ahead was daunting, the path fraught with challenges, but the fire inside her burned brighter than ever, ready to illuminate the darkness behind the camera and reveal the hidden truths that had long been concealed. Fans were shocked, emotions ran high, the family was left divided, and Rasheeda, standing at the precipice of revelation, knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The world of love and hip-hop had been shaken to its core, and the story was only beginning. The tension on set had reached a breaking point. Producers were frantic, whispering urgently to one another, their previous confidence beginning to crack under the weight of Rasheeda's newfound defiance. She walked through the hallways with purpose, her eyes scanning the crew and cast, noting every wary glance, every subtle pause in conversation. She could feel the energy shift around her, the undercurrent of fear, uncertainty, and anticipation. For the first time, she realized the power she held was not in performing for the cameras, but in knowing the truth, in controlling the narrative that had been hijacked for ratings. That afternoon, a heated confrontation erupted in the producer's office. Rasheeda and her partner, united in their determination, stood side by side as they challenged the manipulations that had haunted them for months. "You can't keep forcing us to fake our lives," she exclaimed, her voice echoing off the walls. "Our pain isn't for sale. Our emotions aren't a product." The producers exchanged tense glances, their usual smirks replaced by nervous frowns. "We're just trying to entertain," one of them muttered, attempting to maintain control. Rasheeda shot him a look that cut through the room like glass. "Entertainment. This is deception. This is betrayal. And it stops now." Back on set, the cast was beginning to notice the subtle change in her demeanor. Scenes that were once executed with mechanical precision now carried a raw edge, an unpredictable energy that kept everyone on their toes. Her partner, too, had grown bolder, responding in ways that were unscripted, honest, and shocking to the crew. Emotions ran high as arguments that were meant to be staged spilled into unscripted territory, leaving everyone guessing what was real and what was fabricated. The tension was palpable, and even the cameras seemed to tremble in the charged atmosphere. Fans online sensed the shift immediately. Threads exploded with speculation. Some noticed small inconsistencies, the way Rasheeda's reactions sometimes seemed too real, too authentic, for a scripted performance. Others defended the show, insisting that it was all part of the drama. Yet a growing number of viewers began to question what they had been consuming, and the buzz became impossible to ignore. Hashtags calling for truth and transparency trended, and whispers of behind-the-scenes manipulation spread like wildfire. Rasheeda, monitoring the reactions, felt a surge of empowerment. Her voice, though previously silenced, was now resonating in the public sphere. That evening, a clandestine meeting was held in a quiet corner of the studio. Rasheeda and her partner gathered evidence, recording conversations, and documenting every directive that had forced them into deception. The producers, unaware that their control was slipping, continued their subtle manipulations, assuming compliance. But Rasheeda's meticulous preparation ensured that every word, every command, would one day be exposed. The stakes were higher than ever. Betrayal and fear clashed with determination and courage, creating a volatile mix that threatened to ignite at any moment. The following day brought another layer of chaos. A scene was scheduled where Rasheeda was to confront a co-star over a fabricated betrayal. As the cameras rolled, she delivered her lines with calculated precision, but her eyes carried an intensity that startled even the most experienced crew members. Halfway through, she deviated from the script, adding unscripted questions and accusations that forced genuine reactions from everyone involved. The room froze. The producer's usual authority faltered. Whispers of "what is she doing?" floated through the set as the confrontation became an unplanned spectacle of authenticity. Her partner, initially anxious, soon realized the potential in this unplanned rebellion. Together, they pushed the boundaries, testing the limits of the producer's control. Every deviation, every unexpected response, chipped away at the illusion that had been carefully constructed. Tensions escalated, and the crew struggled to maintain order, torn between following protocol and reacting to the unpredictability of Rasheeda's actions. Emotions ran high as lines between reality and performance blurred, creating a dramatic tension that electrified the atmosphere. Outside the studio, family members and friends. Tension that electrified the atmosphere. Outside the studio, family members and friends noticed the strain. Some were worried, fearing that Rasheeda's defiance could backfire, affecting both her personal and professional life. Others, however, admired her courage, offering support and encouragement. Messages flooded her phone, some sympathetic, some inquisitive, all reflecting the complexity of emotions her actions had stirred. The family was left divided. Some feared repercussions, while others celebrated the empowerment that radiated from her stance. Meanwhile, social media chatter intensified. Fans shared theories, dissecting episodes for clues, and debating which moments were real and which were staged. Each post, each comment, added to the pressure on the producers, who could no longer maintain the illusion of control. Viewers, unknowingly witnessing the unraveling of the show's manipulations, felt a mixture of fascination and disbelief. Rasheeda observed it all, a quiet satisfaction growing as the ripple effects of her defiance spread beyond the walls of the studio. In private moments, she reflected on the emotional toll. The fake tears, forced arguments, and fabricated heartbreak had left scars, but they had also forged resilience. She recalled nights spent replaying scenes, analyzing every movement, every reaction, questioning her own authenticity. Yet the struggle had transformed into strength. Every confrontation, every stand she took against the manipulation, solidified her determination to expose the truth. She knew the revelation would not be easy, but the need to reclaim her life and narrative outweighed any fear. The producers, sensing the shift, attempted damage control. They orchestrated scenes with even more intensity, hoping to regain authority and control. But Rasheeda, now anticipating their tactics, countered each move with precision. Every unscripted remark, every subtle defiance, disrupted their carefully laid plans. Tensions escalated to a near breaking point, creating an atmosphere where the line between reality and performance became almost meaningless. One afternoon, a confrontation erupted over a minor script adjustment. A producer demanded Rasheeda deliver a particularly emotional line, claiming it was crucial for the storyline. She paused, took a deep breath, and refused, stating firmly that she would not feign emotion for something that was not real. The room fell silent. Other cast members looked on, unsure how to react, while the production team scrambled to regain control. In that moment, Rasheeda realized the full extent of her power, the ability to challenge the system, to inject authenticity into a world built on fabrication. The public reaction to leaks from the set began to intensify. Insiders who had grown sympathetic to Rasheeda's plight started sharing stories of manipulation, casting doubt on the authenticity of the show. Social media exploded with speculation, fan accounts highlighting inconsistencies, and blogs dissecting every possible clue. The buzz became impossible to ignore, and the producers' attempts to maintain secrecy started to crumble. The fire that Rasheeda had ignited was spreading, reaching fans, insiders, and even casual viewers who questioned the authenticity of the drama they consumed. As the days progressed, Rasheeda and her partner strategized their next moves carefully. They understood that a full-scale revelation would create chaos but felt it was necessary for their dignity and the truth. Each recorded conversation, each documented instruction, became a stepping stone toward exposing the reality of the show. They weighed the risks against the potential impact, knowing that once the truth emerged, there would be no turning back. The emotional toll on her family also became apparent. Siblings, friends, and relatives were caught in the crossfire of public scrutiny and personal betrayal. Some blamed her for participating, while others criticized the producers' unethical manipulations. The house was divided, conversations filled with tension, arguments erupting over loyalty, responsibility, and the impact of fame. Rasheeda remained steadfast, understanding that reclaiming her narrative was not just a personal battle but a family one as well, with consequences that would ripple far beyond the studio walls. Fans continued to react online, with a mixture of shock and intrigue. They debated every subtle change in behavior, every unscripted remark, and every moment that seemed too raw to be manufactured. The audience, unknowingly witnessing the unraveling of the show's manipulates, became a part of the unfolding drama, their speculation amplifying the tension. Rasheeda watched it all, a quiet satisfaction growing as the ripple effects of her defiance spread beyond the walls of the studio. The climax of Part 1 approached as Rasheeda confronted a key producer in private, finally voicing the culmination of her frustrations. "I refuse to be your puppet any longer," she said, her voice steady and resolute. "Everything you've made us do, every fake scene, every forced emotion, it ends now." The producer's eyes widened, a mix of surprise and concern flashing across his face. The tension in the room was palpable, and for the first time, Rasheeda felt a surge of power and control. This confrontation marked a turning point, signaling the beginning of a battle that would shake the foundations of the show, the cast, and the lives entangled in the fabricated reality. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, and Rasheeda, standing at the edge of revelation, knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The storm had begun, and Part 1 of this dramatic journey had set the stage for the chaos, confrontations, and truths yet to come. The morning after the confrontation, the atmosphere on set was electric with anticipation. Whispers circulated among the crew as they speculated about what Rasheeda's bold stand might mean for the rest of the production. The usual controlled environment was replaced by a sense of unease, tension weaving through every hallway and lingering in every corner. Even the cameras seemed to capture more than just the scripted drama. They reflected the undercurrents of rebellion that Rasheeda had ignited. Her partner walked beside her, a silent ally in the fight to reclaim their narrative, eyes scanning the room for any signs of manipulation or retaliation. As filming resumed, Rasheeda approached each scene with calculated precision. While she delivered the scripted lines, subtle deviations and intentional pauses created moments of uncertainty. The crew noticed, and murmurs of confusion rippled through the set. The producers attempted to regain control, giving instructions with a sharper edge, demanding perfect performances. But the energy had shifted irreversibly. Rasheeda had discovered a rhythm that blended the reality of her frustration with the demands of performance, making every scene unpredictable and emotionally charged. During one particular shoot, a co-star confronted Rasheeda about her changing behavior. "Why are you acting like this?" they asked, genuinely perplexed. Rasheeda's response was measured but piercing. "I'm done playing a role that isn't mine. Everything we've done, every fight, every tear, you all know it's not real. So why should I pretend anymore?" The room fell silent. Cameras continued to roll, capturing raw reactions that were unscripted, creating a tension that had the entire crew on edge. Emotions ran high, with everyone sensing that the scripted facade of the show was unraveling in real time. Meanwhile, back at home, the family was navigating the fallout. Some members worried that Rasheeda's defiance could jeopardize her career, while others admired her courage and resilience. Private conversations revealed fractured loyalties, misunderstandings, and the pressure of maintaining appearances for a public that had long been misled. Late-night discussions, heated debates, and emotional venting sessions became a daily occurrence, leaving the household tense and divided. Rasheeda, however, remained focused on the larger battle, balancing her personal obligations with the growing need to expose the manipulation behind the cameras. Fans online began noticing inconsistencies that they had previously overlooked. Subtle gestures, fleeting expressions, and moments of hesitation sparked speculation. Social media threads filled with debates over which moments were genuine and which were staged. The audience, unknowingly witnessing the erosion of the genuine and which were staged. The audience, unknowingly witnessing the erosion of the show's manufactured reality. became participants in the unfolding drama. Each post, each comment, amplified the tension and made it increasingly difficult for the producers to maintain their grip on the narrative. In a private meeting with her partner, Rasheeda began to strategize. They reviewed every scene, every directive, every instance of forced emotion, meticulously documenting the manipulation that had dictated their actions for months. They discussed the risks of exposing the producers publicly but recognized the necessity of reclaiming their truth. Each recorded conversation and each note served as ammunition, a means to confront not just the production team but the public perception that had been carefully curated over time. On set, tensions escalated further during a scene designed to fabricate a heated argument. The producers instructed Rasheeda to deliver exaggerated anger, but she tempered her performance with subtle authenticity, forcing genuine reactions from her co-star. The cameras captured an electrifying interplay of scripted direction and unscripted tension. Emotions ran high, the energy palpable, and the crew struggled to maintain the illusion of control. The producers exchanged worried glances, realizing that their previous authority was slipping as Rasheeda took command of the emotional landscape. Outside the studio, fans began sharing theories and observations with increasing intensity. Social media threads dissected every minor detail, drawing connections between on-screen actions and potential off-screen truths. Speculation ran rampant, some defending the show, others expressing shock and outrage at the apparent manipulation. The public's fascination added pressure to the already tense environment, turning every scene into a potential battleground of perception versus reality. Rasheeda, monitoring the reactions, felt both empowered and cautious, understanding the influence she wielded over the unfolding narrative. As filming continued, Rasheeda found herself confronting emotional fatigue. Maintaining the balance between scripted performance and genuine resistance demanded mental fortitude. Yet each challenge reinforced her determination. She reflected on the countless hours spent performing pain that wasn't hers, navigating arguments that had been artificially constructed, and suppressing authentic emotion in favor of ratings. The journey had been grueling, but it had also revealed an inner strength she hadn't fully recognized until now. The producers, sensing the threat to their control, intensified their tactics. They scheduled scenes with even more emotional intensity, added unexpected twists to force reactions, and pressured the cast to conform strictly to the script. Rasheeda, anticipating their moves, countered with subtle deviations, injecting moments of truth into her performance. Each unscripted response chipped away at the illusion of control, creating a volatile dynamic where the line between reality and performance blurred. A pivotal moment occurred when Rasheeda confronted a senior producer privately. "We've been forced to perform our pain for months," she stated, her tone unwavering. "Every breakup, every fight, every tear, it wasn't ours, and the public deserves to know the truth." The producer, momentarily stunned, struggled to respond. The confrontation marked a turning point, signaling that Rasheeda was no longer just a participant in the show but a challenger to the system that had manipulated her life for entertainment. The internal dynamics of the cast shifted as well. Co-stars, previously complicit in the scripted drama, began to react differently to Rasheeda's assertiveness. Some were inspired, quietly supporting her subtle defiance. Others felt threatened, unsure how to navigate the changing environment. The tension created an unpredictable energy, elevating every scene with a mix of genuine emotion and latent conflict. The cameras captured it all, and the resulting footage was charged with a level of authenticity that had been absent in previous episodes. At home, Rasheeda's family continued to process the impact of the unfolding events. Conversations oscillated between fear and admiration, uncertainty and solidarity. Her siblings debated the ethical implications of participating in a show that manipulated real emotions, while friends offered encouragement and strategies for reclaiming control. The household became a microcosm of the larger conflict, reflecting the challenges of navigating personal integrity in a world dominated by fabricated drama. The public's engagement reached a fever pitch. Social media accounts, fan blogs, and online forums dissected every detail, speculating on what was real and what had been manipulated. Hashtags, calling for transparency and truth, began trending, creating a wave of attention that producers could no longer ignore. The mounting pressure amplified the stakes, making every scene, every line, and every reaction a potential catalyst for further revelation. Rasheeda and her partner continued to document the manipulation meticulously. Every conversation, every directive, every subtle coercion became part of a growing archive. They planned a strategic approach to revealing the truth, weighing the potential consequences against the moral imperative to reclaim their narrative. The effort was exhausting, but each documented instance of deception reinforced their resolve to expose the reality behind the manufactured drama. During one particularly intense scene, a co-star attempted to provoke Rasheeda into an exaggerated display of anger. Instead, she delivered a measured, authentic response that caught everyone off guard. The reaction was unscripted, emotional, and raw. The producers watched in stunned silence, realizing that their control was slipping further. The cast and crew, witnessing the unpredictability, reacted with a mixture of awe, confusion, and fear. The energy in the room was electric, a tangible manifestation of the power struggle unfolding before the cameras. As part 2 of this unfolding drama began, fans remained captivated by the subtle shifts they sensed on screen. Speculation, debate, and intrigue dominated social media, amplifying the tension and keeping the story alive in public consciousness. The narrative was no longer confined to the scripted episodes. It had spilled into the real world, creating a dynamic interplay between reality and performance. Emotions ran high. The family remained divided, and Rasheeda, armed with determination and evidence, prepared for the next stage of her journey toward revelation and reclamation of her truth. The following days brought an escalating storm of tension that swept through the studio like wildfire. Rasheeda moved through the set with an air of quiet authority, her every step a calculated assertion of control. The producers, desperate to maintain the illusion, tried to tighten their grip, issuing stricter instructions, micromanaging interactions, and scheduling increasingly intense scenes designed to provoke extreme emotion. But Rasheeda had evolved. She anticipated their manipulations, countering each directive with subtle authenticity that left the crew scrambling to keep up. One afternoon, a pivotal scene was scheduled, a confrontation with a co-star over a fabricated betrayal. Cameras rolled as the scripted dialogue unfolded, but Rasheeda injected nuanced deviations, subtle pauses, meaningful glances, and a tone that carried genuine disbelief. Her co-star, caught off guard, responded authentically, blurring the line between performance and reality. The producers' faces fell, realizing that the carefully orchestrated facade of the show was unraveling in real time. Emotions ran high as unscripted tension threatened to hijack the narrative, leaving everyone on edge. Outside the studio, fans began to notice cracks in the storyline. Online communities dissected episodes, pointing out inconsistencies, fleeting gestures, and moments of hesitation that suggested the on-screen drama might not be entirely genuine. Speculation surged, some praising Rasheeda's courage, others demanding answers, and the conversation became impossible for producers to ignore. The growing buzz created pressure from all directions, leaving the team scrambling to regain control over a narrative that was rapidly slipping beyond their influence. In private, Rasheeda strategized with her partner, analyzing every scene, every producer directive, and every moment of forced emotion, meticulously documenting these instances. They built a dossier that would serve as undeniable evidence of the manipulation behind the scenes. They knew that once the truth emerged, it could alter not only public perception but the very foundation of the show. This planning required patience, restraint, and careful navigation. One misstep could undermine everything they had worked to preserve. As production continued, Rasheeda's subtle defiance became a powerful catalyst for change. Co-stars, initially wary, began to respond differently. Some cautiously supporting her, others challenged by the unpredictability she introduced into each scene. Tensions escalated, and the energy on set became unpredictable, almost electric. The cameras, designed to capture scripted drama, now documented an organic tension fueled by real emotion and the struggle for authenticity. A particularly tense incident occurred when a senior producer demanded an exaggerated display of grief. During a scene depicting the fake breakup, Rasheeda, refusing to comply fully, delivered a measured performance, emphasizing authenticity over theatrics. The room fell silent as the discrepancy between expected performance and actual reaction created palpable unease. Co-stars exchanged anxious glances, the crew struggled to maintain composure, and the producers realized that their attempts at control were faltering. Meanwhile, the family continued to process the unfolding events. Debates erupted over Rasheeda's decisions, with some fearing the repercussions of defying the production team and others admiring her courage. Late-night conversations, heated discussions, and moments of emotional venting became routine, reflecting the strain of navigating public perception, private integrity, and familial relationships simultaneously. The household remained divided, mirroring the tension that had spilled into the studio. Fans online remained captivated. Every deviation from the scripted drama, every subtle unscripted expression, fueled speculation. Social media platforms buzzed with debate, with hashtags calling for truth and transparency trending continuously. Viewers unknowingly became participants in the unfolding drama, their reactions amplifying the stakes and creating a feedback loop of tension, curiosity, and engagement. Rasheeda observed the chatter, aware that her actions were rippling far beyond the studio walls, shaping public perception and narrative simultaneously. As the days passed, the producers intensified their tactics, introducing surprise plot twists and demanding increasingly extreme performances. Yet Rasheeda, prepared and resolute, continued to insert authenticity into her actions, challenging the boundaries of control. She used each scene as an opportunity to expose subtle inconsistencies, forcing the cast and crew to navigate a world where reality and performance overlapped unpredictably. The stakes grew higher, and the tension became almost unbearable. One evening, a secret recording captured a producer instructing a co-star to manipulate a scene for maximum emotional impact. Rasheeda reviewed the footage in private, her resolve hardening. She realized that exposure would not only validate her experience but empower others who had been silenced by similar manipulation. The footage became a critical tool in her arsenal, a piece of evidence that could unravel the facade maintained by the production team for months. During another on-set confrontation, Rasheeda refused to perform an argument that had been scripted to escalate artificially. Instead, she responded with genuine emotion, expressing frustration, confusion, and disbelief. The co-star, reacting authentically, escalated the tension further, creating a scene that was raw, unpredictable, and entirely unscripted. The cameras captured every moment, the energy on set palpable as emotions ran high, and control slipped further from the producer's grasp. At home, Rasheeda's family struggled to comprehend the magnitude of the manipulation. Conversations grew intense, with siblings debating loyalty, ethics, and the implications of publicly revealing the truth. Late-night discussions, private arguments, and emotional venting became the norm, reflecting the complex interplay between fame, personal integrity, and family dynamics. Rasheeda remained focused on her mission, navigating the household tensions while preparing for the revelation that would shake the show to its core. Fans online dissected each episode with increasing scrutiny. Subtle changes in behavior, fleeting expressions, and unscripted deviations fueled speculation. Theories spread rapidly, debates erupted, and curiosity intensified. Social media engagement amplified the tension, creating pressure from all angles. The narrative was no longer confined to the episodes. It had spilled into the real world, engaging viewers in a dynamic interplay between reality and performance. As part 3 of the unfolding drama approached, Rasheeda and her partner meticulously planned their next move. The stakes were higher than ever. Every documented instance of manipulation, every recorded conversation, and every subtle coercion became part of a carefully constructed strategy to reclaim their narrative. They understood that exposure would create chaos, disrupt the show, and challenge the very foundation of the production. But the moral imperative to reveal the truth outweighed the fear of consequences. On set, the intensity continued to rise. Rasheeda's calculated authenticity challenged co-stars, provoked the crew, and unsettled the producers. Each scene became a battlefield where scripted expectations collided with unfiltered emotion. Tension ran high, emotions escalated, and the atmosphere was charged with unpredictability. The unfolding story, captured by cameras designed for manufactured drama, had transformed into a real-life clash of integrity, power, and exposure. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided. And Rasheeda, armed with evidence, resilience, and determination, prepared to push the boundaries further. Knowing that the truth was within reach and the world was about to witness a revelation that would change the face of the show forever. The following week, the intensity on set reached a boiling point. Producers, growing increasingly desperate, attempted to regain control by scheduling multiple high-drama scenes, back-to-back, each designed to elicit maximum emotional reaction. Rasheeda approached each with quiet determination, carefully balancing the demands of the script with her commitment to authenticity. Her every gesture, glance, and tone carried subtle defiance, challenging the narrative that had been constructed without her consent. The crew felt it immediately. The energy on set was electric, charged with tension, uncertainty, and anticipation. During a scene meant to depict a fabricated betrayal, Rasheeda's co-star, sensing the shift in her demeanor, responded spontaneously, reacting with genuine confusion and frustration. Cameras captured every unplanned nuance, the producer's plans unraveling in real time. One producer muttered under his breath, "How is she doing this?" while another frantically tried to issue instructions that could salvage the scene. It was clear the power dynamic had shifted. Rasheeda, once a performer constrained by direction, had become the architect of unpredictability, wielding authenticity as both shield and weapon. Back home, the household was a microcosm of the chaos unfolding on set. Family members, divided in opinion, navigated late-night conversations filled with concern, admiration, and frustration. Some warned of potential repercussions, fearing that challenging the producers could cost her career. Others rallied behind her, inspired by her courage and determination to reclaim her story. Every phone call, every message, reflected the tension of living under the glare of public scrutiny while fighting private battles behind closed doors. Fans online began to notice patterns. Discussions on social media platforms dissected episodes with forensic precision, highlighting subtle deviations in Rasheeda's behavior, questioning the authenticity of certain plotlines, and speculating about what might be real versus staged. Hashtags calling for transparency trended, sparking debates and drawing attention to inconsistencies that had previously gone unnoticed. The public, unknowingly witnessing the erosion of manufactured reality, became participants in the unfolding drama, amplifying its impact and intensifying the pressure on the producers. In private strategy sessions, Rasheeda and her partner reviewed footage, compiled evidence, and documented the ongoing manipulation. Every scripted argument, every forced hair, and every coercive instruction became a piece of the puzzle. They developed a roadmap for revealing the truth, carefully weighing the timing and potential consequences. Each documented instance strengthened their resolve, providing tangible proof to counter any claims that their revelations were fabricated or exaggerated. On set, tensions flared further during a confrontation with a co-star over a scripted scene. The producers demanded an intense display of anger, but Rasheeda responded with a measured, authentic reaction that unsettled everyone. Cameras captured her subtle defiance and genuine emotion, creating moments of unpredictability that disrupted the carefully planned sequence. Co-stars, unsure how to respond, oscillated between caution and admiration, while the crew scrambled to maintain order. The producers' control continued to erode, revealing the fragile foundation upon which the show had been built. Outside the studio, speculation reached fever pitch. Fans dissected each episode, analyzing facial expressions, tone of voice, and micro-reactions for clues. Discussions on forums, comment sections, and social media platforms became increasingly intense, with debates about authenticity, ethics, and the impact of manipulation dominating online conversations. The growing public awareness created an unrelenting wave of scrutiny, further pressuring the production team and reinforcing Rasheeda's position as a catalyst for change. Amidst the chaos, Rasheeda navigated moments of emotional fatigue. Balancing scripted performance with authentic defiance required constant mental and emotional vigilance. Yet each challenge reinforced her determination. She reflected on the countless hours spent performing pain that wasn't hers, enduring arguments that had been orchestrated for entertainment, and suppressing genuine emotion. The struggle had forged resilience, transforming her into a force capable of confronting manipulation with precision and courage. The producers, sensing their diminishing authority, escalated their tactics. Surprise plot twists, unexpected scene adjustments, and heightened emotional demands became routine. Rasheeda, prepared for these moves, countered with subtle authenticity that exposed inconsistencies and forced genuine reactions from The tension on set became palpable, blurring the line between scripted performance and unscripted reality, creating an environment where every interaction carried the weight of potential revelation. A decisive moment occurred during a privately recorded meeting with a senior producer. Rasheeda calmly but firmly laid out her grievances. "We've been manipulated for months," she said, her voice unwavering. "Every fight, every breakup, every tear was orchestrated for ratings. The public deserves the truth, and so do we." The producer, momentarily stunned, struggled to respond, revealing cracks in the once unshakable control of the production team. This confrontation marked a turning point, signaling that Rasheeda was no longer just a participant but a challenger to the system itself. Co-stars reacted in varying ways. Some quietly supported her, recognizing the courage required to confront the manipulation. Others felt threatened, unsure how to navigate the shifting dynamics. The tension created an unpredictable energy, elevating each scene with genuine emotional stakes that had previously been absent. The cameras captured a blend of performance and authenticity, producing footage that was charged with a level of realism no script could manufacture. At home, family tensions mirrored those on set. Debates over ethics, loyalty, and the consequences of public exposure created an environment of uncertainty. Siblings expressed concern, admiration, and frustration in equal measure, reflecting the complexity of navigating personal integrity while under public scrutiny. The household became a reflection of the broader conflict, balancing concern for her well-being with recognition of the importance of reclaiming the narrative. Fans continued to dissect episodes online. Subtle deviations, unplanned reactions, and authentic expressions fueled speculation. Debates over authenticity, ethics, and manipulation intensified, amplifying the stakes and keeping the story alive beyond the studio. The narrative spilled into public discourse, engaging viewers as active participants in the unfolding drama. Emotions ran high. The family remained divided, and Rasheeda, armed with evidence, determination, and resolve, prepared for the next stage of confrontation and revelation. As the end of Part 3 approached, a climactic moment unfolded on set. Rasheeda, refusing to comply with a scripted outburst designed to escalate artificially, instead delivered a controlled, authentic response that shifted the energy in the room. The co-star's unscripted reaction heightened the tension, while the crew and producers struggled to regain composure. The cameras captured it all, documenting a real-time clash between manufactured drama and genuine emotion. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, and Rasheeda, standing on the precipice of exposing the manipulation, knew that the storm she had ignited was far from over. The next chapters would reveal confrontations, secrets, and truths that would leave the show forever changed. The following days felt like a battlefield. Every step Rasheeda took on set carried the weight of rebellion, each glance a subtle challenge to the authority that had long dictated her every move. The producers, desperate to regain control, orchestrated a series of increasingly intense scenes, each one designed to provoke extreme emotional responses. But Rasheeda had evolved. She anticipated their manipulations, countering every instruction with a blend of authenticity and strategic defiance that left the crew scrambling. The energy on set was raw, unpredictable, and charged with tension. During one particularly heated scene, Rasheeda was instructed to confront a co-star over a fabricated betrayal. Cameras rolled as scripted dialogue was delivered, but she injected small deviations, a pause here, a pointed glance there, that forced genuine reactions from everyone involved. Her co-star faltered, unsure how to respond to the unexpected authenticity. Whispers spread among the crew. Is this part of the script? The producers, previously confident in their control, exchanged worried glances. It was clear the balance of power had shifted, and the show's manufactured reality was beginning to crumble. At home, the household was a mirror of the chaos on set. Family members debated late into the night, oscillating between admiration and concern. Some feared that Rasheeda's defiance could jeopardize her career, while others praised her courage and integrity. Text messages, phone calls, and private conversations reflected a whirlwind of emotion, fear, frustration, pride, and uncertainty, all mingling as they processed the unfolding events. Rasheeda, aware of the stakes, remained focused, balancing familial concerns with her determination to expose the truth. Fans online began noticing subtle cracks in the storyline. Social media erupted with speculation as viewers dissected episodes, analyzing fleeting expressions, pauses, and reactions that seemed too authentic to be scripted. Hashtags calling for truth and transparency trended, and the conversation quickly spread across platforms. Viewers became unwitting participants in the drama, their theories and debates adding pressure from every direction. Rasheeda monitored the reactions, feeling empowered by the growing support and validation from the public. In private, Rasheeda and her partner meticulously reviewed footage, documenting every instance of manipulation. Each scripted argument, forced emotional display, and coercive instruction became evidence. They mapped out a strategy to expose the truth, weighing potential consequences against the imperative to reclaim their narrative. With each documented detail, their resolve strengthened, providing a clear roadmap for challenging the fabricated reality imposed on them. On set, tensions escalated during a confrontation over a scripted emotional breakdown. A producer demanded an exaggerated display of grief, but Rasheeda responded with measured authenticity, forcing the co-star into genuine reaction. The room fell silent, the cameras capturing a moment of unplanned tension that disrupted the carefully orchestrated scene. Co-stars exchanged anxious glances, unsure how to navigate the unpredictable energy. The producers realized that their control was slipping further with each passing moment. Outside the studio, fans dissected every detail with increasing fervor. Discussions on forums and social media platforms debated authenticity, ethics, and manipulation, with each new episode fueling speculation. The public's engagement amplified the stakes, turning the unfolding events into a real-time spectacle that extended far beyond the confines of the show. Rasheeda's actions had transformed the audience from passive viewers into active participants in a narrative that blurred the line between reality and performance. Amid the mounting chaos, Rasheeda navigated moments of emotional exhaustion. Balancing scripted performance with genuine defiance required mental fortitude. Yet each challenge reinforced her determination. She reflected on the countless hours spent performing pain that wasn't hers, enduring artificial conflicts, and suppressing real emotions. The struggle had forged resilience, transforming her into a force capable of confronting manipulation with precision, courage, and strategic awareness. The producers, sensing the erosion of their authority, intensified their tactics. Surprise plot twists, unexpected scene adjustments, and heightened emotional demands became standard. Rasheeda anticipated these moves, countering with subtle authenticity that exposed inconsistencies and forced genuine responses from cost. The tension on set became almost unbearable, blurring the boundary between scripted drama and unscripted reality. Every interaction carried the weight of potential revelation. A critical moment occurred when Rasheeda confronted a senior producer privately. "We've been manipulated for months," she said firmly. "Every fight, every breakup, every tear was orchestrated. The public deserves the truth, and so do we." The producer, taken aback, struggled to respond. This confrontation marked a turning point, signaling that Rasheeda had moved from participant to challenger, ready to dismantle the carefully constructed illusion of the show. Co-stars' reactions varied. Some quietly supported her, inspired by her courage. Others felt threatened, uncertain how to respond to the unpredictable environment. The tension created an energy that elevated every scene, infusing it with genuine emotional stakes previously absent. The cameras captured a mix of performance and authenticity, producing footage charged with realism no script could manufacture. At home, family tensions mirrored the set's volatility. Debates about ethics, loyalty, and public exposure intensified, creating an environment of uncertainty and emotional strain. Siblings expressed concern, admiration, and frustration in equal measure, reflecting the challenges of maintaining personal integrity under public scrutiny. The household became a microcosm of the broader conflict, balancing worry with recognition of the importance of reclaiming one's narrative. Fans continued to scrutinize each episode online. Subtle deviations, unscripted reactions, and authentic expressions fueled speculation. Discussions over authenticity and manipulation intensified, amplifying the stakes and keeping the drama alive beyond the studio. The narrative spilled into public discourse, engaging viewers as active participants in the unfolding story. Emotions ran high. The family remained divided, and Rasheeda, armed with evidence and determination, prepared for the next stage of confrontation, ready to escalate the battle for truth. As Part 4 drew to a close, a climactic moment unfolded. Rasheeda, refusing to perform a scripted outburst, delivered a controlled, authentic response that shifted the energy on set. The co-stars' unscripted reaction heightened tension, while crew and producers scrambled to regain composure. Cameras captured the real-time clash between manufactured drama and raw emotion. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, and Rasheeda, on the brink of full revelation, knew the storm she had ignited was far from over, setting the stage for further confrontations, secrets, and truths that would leave the show forever changed. The days that followed were a whirlwind of chaos, tension, and unfiltered emotion. Rasheeda moved through the set with a calm yet commanding presence, each step a subtle defiance against the manipulations that had long controlled her actions. Producers, growing desperate, escalated their tactics, introducing more intense plot twists and demanding increasingly extreme emotional performances. But Rasheeda, now fully aware of the dynamics at play, navigated each scene with precision, blending authenticity with strategic deviation to challenge the carefully crafted narrative. During one particularly charged scene, she was instructed to deliver an explosive confrontation with a co-star over a fabricated betrayal. As cameras rolled, she inserted subtle changes, deliberate pauses, meaningful glances, and shifts in tone, forcing genuine reactions from her co-star. The room's energy shifted. Co-stars and crew alike felt the unpredictability ripple through every interaction. The producers, once confident in their control, were visibly unsettled, scrambling to maintain the illusion of authority. Whispers of "she's out of control, and is this part of the script?" circulated among the team, a testament to Rasheeda's growing influence over the narrative. At home, the family remained a complex web of emotion and divided opinion. Some worried that Rasheeda's defiance might jeopardize her career, while others admired her courage and integrity. Nightly conversations teetered between heated debates and expressions of support, reflecting the intense personal stakes at play. Rasheeda, aware of the pressures, remained focused, balancing familial concerns with the larger mission of reclaiming her truth. The household mirrored the tension on set, a reflection of the broader struggle between manipulation and authenticity. Fans online were becoming increasingly engaged, dissecting episodes with meticulous attention. Social media platforms buzzed with debate and speculation. Hashtags calling for transparency and truth began trending, and forums filled with analyses of fleeting gestures, micro-expressions, and unscripted deviations. The public, unknowingly witnessing the unraveling of manufactured reality, became active participants in the drama. Each comment, post, and theory amplified the tension, creating pressure that the producers could no longer ignore. In private, Rasheeda and her partner continued to document every manipulation, recording conversations, capturing instances of forced performance, and meticulously cataloging each piece of evidence. They strategized carefully, aware that revealing the truth could disrupt the show entirely, yet understanding the moral imperative to expose the deception. The more they documented, the clearer the picture became, providing both a roadmap and ammunition for the battles that lay ahead. On set, tensions reached new heights. During a scene designed to provoke tears, Rasheeda refused to exaggerate her emotions artificially. Instead, she responded with genuine sentiment, prompting an authentic reaction from her co-star that sent shockwaves through the production team. The cameras captured every moment of unscripted drama, the energy in the room tangible and electric. Co-stars exchanged glances of awe, anxiety, and confusion, while the producers struggled to reassert control over a situation slipping steadily beyond their grasp. Outside the studio, the audience's fascination escalated. Fans dissected episodes with obsessive detail, debating which moments were real and which were staged. Speculations spread like wildfire across social media, with viewers analyzing every glance, pause, and gesture. The growing online engagement added another layer of pressure, reinforcing Rasheeda's position as the catalyst for transparency and accountability. She understood the influence she wielded, carefully navigating her actions to maximize impact while protecting her integrity. Amid the escalating drama, Rasheeda confronted the physical and emotional toll of her dual performance, living the scripted role while asserting her own narrative. Exhaustion threatened, yet each challenge reinforced her resilience. She reflected on the months spent performing artificial pain, navigating contrived conflicts, and suppressing real emotion, recognizing that the struggle had honed a new level of inner strength. This fortitude became her weapon, allowing her to maneuver through manipulative tactics with clarity and purpose. The producers, increasingly frantic, introduced surprise challenges, demanding heightened intensity in every scene. Rasheeda, prepared for these maneuvers, countered with subtle authenticity, creating moments that exposed inconsistencies and forced her co-stars into real reactions. The energy on set became unpredictable, charged with tension that blurred the boundaries between staged drama and unscripted reality. Each interaction carried the weight of potential exposure, keeping the entire production team on edge. A pivotal confrontation occurred when Rasheeda privately addressed a senior producer. "We've been coerced into performing fabricated emotions for months," she stated firmly. "Every fight, every breakup, every tear was manipulated. The audience deserves the truth, and so do we." The producer, momentarily stunned, fumbled for a response. This confrontation marked a defining moment, signaling that Rasheeda was no longer a participant constrained by direction but a challenger, ready to dismantle the manufactured reality imposed upon her. Co-stars' reactions were mixed. Some supported her quietly, drawn to her courage and integrity, while others felt threatened, unsure how to respond to the unpredictability she introduced. The tension elevated every scene, infusing it with authentic stakes that had previously been absent. The cameras documented a blend of performance and reality, producing footage charged with a realism impossible to script. At home, the family navigated continued tension. Debates over loyalty, ethics, and public exposure grew intense, reflecting the challenges of preserving personal integrity in the face of external pressure. Siblings expressed concern, admiration, and frustration, creating an environment that mirrored the studio's volatility. Rasheeda remained steadfast, balancing personal relationships with the urgent need to reclaim her story. Fans dissected episodes with growing intensity. Subtle deviations, unplanned reactions, and authentic emotions sparked speculation and debate. Discussions over the ethics of manipulation and authenticity intensified, amplifying the stakes and keeping the drama alive beyond the studio. The narrative spilled into public discourse, engaging viewers as active participants in a story where reality and performance collided. Emotions ran high. The family remained divided, and Rasheeda, armed with evidence and resolve, prepared for the next phase of confrontation. As Part 5 drew to a close, a climactic moment unfolded on set. Rasheeda, refusing to deliver a scripted outburst, chose authenticity instead, creating a scene that shifted the energy in the room. Her co-star's unscripted reaction heightened tension, while the crew and producers struggled to regain control. Cameras captured the real-time clash of manufactured drama and raw emotion. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, and Rasheeda, on the brink of full exposure, knew the storm she had ignited was far from over, setting the stage for the final revelations and confrontations that would redefine the show forever. The final week of filming was a pressure cooker. Every scene, every interaction, carried the weight of anticipation, uncertainty, and raw emotion. Rasheeda moved through the set with unwavering focus, her presence commanding attention without a word. The producers, sensing that their control had all but slipped away, pushed harder than ever, scheduling back-to-back emotionally charged scenes meant to provoke over-the-top reactions. Yet Rasheeda had transformed into a master of subtle resistance, weaving authenticity into every line, gesture, and pause, leaving the crew scrambling to adapt to an energy they could no longer manipulate. During one pivotal confrontation, a co-star attempted to force a dramatic meltdown for the cameras. Rasheeda, refusing to comply fully, responded with controlled, authentic emotion. The co-star, caught off guard by the unexpected intensity, faltered, producing a genuine reaction that no script could have anticipated. The tension in the room was palpable, the energy electric. Producers muttered anxiously, realizing that their authority had eroded to the point where they could no longer dictate the narrative. Cameras captured every detail, preserving the unscripted, emotionally charged moments for posterity. Back at home, the family felt the ripple effects of the chaos. Late-night discussions, heated debates, and emotional venting became routine. Siblings expressed concern for Rasheeda's well-being, worry over potential career repercussions, and admiration for her courage. The household mirrored the volatility on set, reflecting the delicate balance between personal integrity, family loyalty, and public perception. Rasheeda, aware of the stakes, continued to navigate these dynamics while maintaining focus on the ultimate goal, exposing the manipulation behind the show. Fans online became more involved than ever. Forums and social media platforms dissected each episode with a fine-toothed comb, analyzing expressions, tone shifts, and pauses that suggested unscripted authenticity. Speculation surged as hashtags calling for transparency trended, and debates over the ethics of manipulation dominated online conversations. The audience, unknowingly witnessing the unraveling of fabricated drama, became an integral part of the unfolding story, their engagement amplifying pressure on the producers and validating Rasheeda's fight for truth. In private, Rasheeda and her partner continued to compile evidence, reviewing every scene, recording every directive, and documenting each instance of forced performance. They mapped out a comprehensive strategy for revealing the truth, aware that exposure could disrupt the show entirely but determined to prioritize integrity over convenience. Every piece of documented manipulation strengthened their resolve, providing clear proof that could challenge the carefully curated facade maintained by the production team. On set, tensions reached a crescendo. Producers demanded increasingly extreme emotional displays, while Rasheeda navigated each scene with calculated authenticity. Her controlled deviations forced genuine responses from co-stars, creating moments of unscripted tension that exposed the fragility of the production's authority. Crew members exchanged anxious glances, co-stars hesitated, and the producers realized that the show's manufactured reality had slipped beyond their control. The energy was volatile, unpredictable, and electrifying, capturing the audience's attention both on-screen and online. A critical confrontation occurred when Rasheeda privately addressed a senior producer. "We've been coerced into performing fake pain for ratings," she said firmly. "Every fight, every breakup, every tear was manipulated. The audience deserves the truth, and so do we." The producer, stunned, struggled to formulate a response. This confrontation marked a definitive turning point. Rasheeda was no longer merely participating in the show. She was actively challenging and dismantling the system that had exploited her and her co-stars for entertainment. Co-stars reacted in varying ways. Some offered quiet support, inspired by her courage and integrity, while others were threatened, unsure how to navigate the unpredictable environment. The tension elevated each scene, infusing it with emotional stakes previously absent. The cameras captured the clash between performance and reality, producing footage charged with a raw authenticity that no script could manufacture. At home, familial tensions remained high. Debates over loyalty, ethics, and the consequences of public exposure continued, creating an atmosphere of emotional strain. Siblings voiced concern, admiration, and frustration, reflecting the challenges of preserving integrity while under public scrutiny. The household mirrored the volatility on set, balancing worry with recognition of the importance of reclaiming one's narrative. Fans dissected episodes online with growing intensity. Subtle deviations, unscripted reactions, and authentic expressions fueled speculation, debate, and fascination. Conversations over the ethics of manipulation and authenticity amplified the stakes, extending the drama beyond the studio. The unfolding narrative engaged viewers as active participants, blurring the lines between reality and performance. Emotions ran high. The family remained divided, and Rasheeda, armed with evidence, determination, and resilience, prepared for the final confrontation that would reveal the truth once and for all. As the last day of filming arrived, a climactic scene unfolded. Rasheeda, refusing to deliver a scripted outburst, chose authenticity instead. The co-star's unscripted reaction intensified the tension, while the crew and producers scrambled to maintain composure. Cameras captured the real-time clash between manufactured drama and raw emotion, preserving moments of unscripted authenticity that would forever alter the perception of the show. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, and Rasheeda, standing at the threshold of full revelation, knew that the storm she had ignited was only just beginning. The truth was about to emerge, and nothing would ever be the same. With the cameras still rolling and the crew struggling to maintain order, Rasheeda took a deep breath and stepped into what would become the most pivotal scene of the series. She had meticulously prepared for this moment, knowing it was her chance to reclaim control and reveal the layers of manipulation that had haunted the cast and crew for months. Every eye in the room was on her, from co-stars uncertain how to react to producers whose confident facades were cracking under the weight of unpredictability. The tension was tangible, almost suffocating. The scene began as scripted, a confrontation over the fabricated breakup, but Rasheeda's delivery immediately shifted the energy. Instead of performing forced anger or exaggerated grief, she injected real emotion, subtle yet powerful. Her voice carried authenticity, her expressions conveyed genuine frustration and disbelief, and her pauses created moments of raw tension that no director could fabricate. The co-star, reacting spontaneously, mirrored her intensity, escalating the scene into something entirely unscripted. Whispers rippled through the crew, some amazed, others anxious, as they realized the narrative they had controlled for so long was slipping through their fingers. At home, the family followed the drama with bated breath. Texts, calls, and late-night messages reflected their collective anxiety, pride, and admiration. Siblings debated the potential fallout of Rasheeda's defiance, weighing concerns over her career against the importance of truth and integrity. The household was a microcosm of the chaos on set, mirroring the conflicts, loyalty struggles, and emotional stakes that had defined the weeks leading up to this moment. Rasheeda navigated the conversations with poise, understanding the importance of maintaining composure amidst personal and professional turbulence. Online, fans exploded with speculation and analysis. Every episode, every subtle expression, and every pause was dissected and shared across social media. Hashtags calling for transparency trended continuously, as viewers debated authenticity, questioned the ethics of the production, and speculated about what was real versus staged. The growing online engagement created pressure from all sides, validating Rasheeda's struggle and amplifying the impact of her emerging narrative. She monitored the reactions, aware that her carefully timed authenticity had captured the public's imagination and shifted the momentum of the story. Privately, Rasheeda and her partner continued to document every manipulation, gathering recordings, instructions, and instances of forced performance. Their meticulous strategy provided a clear roadmap for the final revelation, balancing timing, impact, and evidence. Each documented incident reinforced the moral imperative to expose the truth, transforming frustration and injustice into a calculated plan to reclaim the narrative. The deeper they dug, the clearer it became that the show had relied on coercion and deceit for months, creating a web of manipulation that demanded accountability. On set, tensions escalated further. Producers, sensing their diminishing authority, introduced more aggressive tactics, demanding extreme performances and orchestrating surprise plot twists. Rasheeda, prepared for these maneuvers, responded with calm authenticity, forcing unscripted reactions from co-stars and further destabilizing the artificial narrative. The crew, previously confident in their ability to manage every interaction, now struggled to maintain composure, witnessing firsthand the unraveling of the scripted drama. A critical turning point occurred during a private confrontation with a senior producer. Rasheeda, unwavering, addressed the manipulation directly. "We've been coerced into performing fake emotions for ratings. Every argument, every tear, every fight has been orchestrated. The audience deserves the truth, and so do we." The producer, caught off guard, hesitated, revealing cracks in the authority that had controlled the production for months. This moment marked a significant shift. Rasheeda had moved from participant to challenger, asserting her agency and preparing to dismantle the carefully constructed illusion. Co-stars reacted in various ways. Some offered quiet support, drawn to her courage and authenticity. Others, threatened by the unpredictability she introduced, struggled to navigate the shifting dynamics. The tension created a charged atmosphere, elevating each scene with emotional stakes previously absent. Cameras captured a blend of performance and reality, producing footage brimming with raw intensity that could not be scripted or replicated. At home, family discussions remained tense. Debates over loyalty, ethics, and public exposure intensified, reflecting the challenges of preserving personal integrity while under the scrutiny of both the media and the public. Siblings voiced concern, admiration, and frustration, creating an environment that mirrored the volatility of the studio. Rasheeda balanced these dynamics with careful deliberation, remaining focused on the ultimate goal, exposing the manipulation and reclaiming her narrative. Fans continued to dissect each episode, analyzing subtle deviations, unplanned reactions, and authentic moments of emotion. The growing discourse amplified the stakes, extending the drama far beyond the studio. The narrative had spilled into the public sphere, engaging viewers as active participants in a story where reality and performance collided. Emotions ran high. The family remained divided, and Rasheeda, armed with evidence, courage, and determination, prepared for the final confrontation that would reveal the full extent of the manipulation behind the show. As Part 6, the culmination of months of struggle, approached, the climactic scene unfolded. Rasheeda, refusing to deliver a scripted outburst, chose authenticity, transforming the energy in the room. The co-stars' unscripted reaction heightened tension, while the crew and producers scrambled to maintain composure. Cameras captured the real-time clash between manufactured drama and raw emotion, documenting the unscripted moments that would forever alter the perception of the series. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, and Rasheeda, standing on the precipice of revelation, knew that the truth was about to emerge, leaving the show and its viewers forever changed. The aftermath of the final scenes sent shockwaves through every corner of the production. The footage, raw and unfiltered, captured moments of authenticity that the producers could no longer spin or control. Co-stars whispered among themselves, some in awe of Rasheeda's courage, others anxious about the implications for their own roles. The crew, exhausted and tense, realized they had been participants in a subtle rebellion, witnessing firsthand the unraveling of a carefully constructed illusion. Producers scrambled to assess damage control, but the momentum had shifted irreversibly. In her personal space, Rasheeda reflected on the journey. Months of orchestrated conflict, manipulated emotions, and forced performances had culminated in this defining moment. She revisited recordings, notes, and behind-the-scenes footage, recognizing the power of documented evidence. Each instance of manipulation, once a source of frustration and anger, had transformed into a tool to reclaim her narrative. The thaw. Careful balance of strategy, authenticity, and courage had created an unassailable position from which she could expose the truth. The family, witnessing the developments through episodes and social media discussions, navigated their own emotional turmoil. Admiration, concern, and frustration intertwined as they processed the implications of Rasheeda's actions. Late-night conversations dissected each scene, weighing the potential fallout against the moral imperative to reveal the truth. The household had become a microcosm of the broader chaos, reflecting the stakes, conflicts, and loyalties that defined the struggle between manipulation and authenticity. Fans online erupted with discussion. Each subtle deviation, unplanned reaction, and authentic expression became a point of fascination. Social media platforms were flooded with analysis, speculation, and debates about ethics, manipulation, and the reality behind the drama. Hashtags advocating transparency and truth trended, as viewers recognized that the narrative they had followed was more complex than previously presented. The audience had become an active participant, their engagement amplifying the tension and reinforcing Rasheeda's role as a catalyst for exposure. In private, Rasheeda and her partner reviewed every detail, creating a comprehensive dossier of the manipulation. Instructions from producers, forced emotional performances, and instances of coercion were cataloged meticulously. Their strategy for revealing the truth relied not only on exposing the manipulation but also on demonstrating the resilience, integrity, and authenticity that had defined Rasheeda's journey. Each documented instance strengthened their position, providing clarity, evidence, and moral justification for the forthcoming revelations. On set, the residual tension lingered. Co-stars navigated the uncertainty of shifting dynamics, some quietly supporting Rasheeda, others wary of her unpredictability. Producers attempted to salvage control, introducing minor adjustments and directing scenes with careful precision. Yet the atmosphere was irrevocably altered. Cameras continued rolling, capturing subtle interactions and unscripted reactions that revealed cracks in the narrative framework that had guided the series for so long. A defining confrontation occurred when Rasheeda requested a private meeting with the senior production team. She spoke with calm authority, articulating the months of manipulation and coercion. "We've been forced to perform fake emotions, manufactured fights, and staged betrayals. The audience deserves the truth, and so do we." The producers, confronted with undeniable evidence and a poised challenger, struggled to respond. This moment symbolized the culmination of Rasheeda's efforts, the apex of her transformation from participant to agent of accountability. Co-stars' reactions were complex. Some offered quiet solidarity, inspired by her courage and dedication to authenticity. Others, intimidated by the unpredictability and exposure, retreated into cautious neutrality. The interplay of fear, respect, and admiration infused every scene, creating an environment where genuine emotion and unscripted moments dominated the narrative. Cameras captured this blend of performance and reality, producing footage charged with intensity that no scripted drama could replicate. At home, the family processed the unfolding story with mixed emotions. Late-night debates, expressions of pride, and moments of concern reflected the ongoing tension between personal integrity, loyalty, and public perception. Siblings balanced admiration for Rasheeda's bravery with anxiety over potential professional consequences, creating an emotional landscape as complex as the drama itself. The household became a parallel narrative, a lens through which the broader implications of the manipulation and exposure were examined and discussed. Fans remained captivated. Online forums and social media platforms were alive with speculation, analysis, and debate. Subtle gestures, unplanned expressions, and authentic reactions were dissected endlessly, with audiences exploring the ethics of manipulation, the reality of performance, and the courage required to challenge it. The public's engagement extended the drama beyond the studio, amplifying its significance and impact. Emotions ran high. The family remained divided, and Rasheeda, armed with evidence, integrity, and resolve, prepared for the ultimate revelation that would expose the truth fully and permanently shift the narrative of the show. As the final moments of Part 6 concluded, the climactic revelation loomed. Rasheeda, having navigated months of manipulation, coercion, and tension, was ready to step into full transparency. The final scenes captured her defiance, authenticity, and unwavering determination. Co-stars reacted in real time, some supporting, some apprehensive, while the crew and producers were forced to confront the unraveling of their control. Cameras documented every moment, preserving unscripted reality in its purest form. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, and Rasheeda, at the threshold of exposing the full truth, knew that nothing would ever be the same. The story was reaching its apex, and the aftermath would leave the world of reality television forever changed. And there you have it, the untold story behind the scenes of Love and Hip Hop, where Rasheeda refused to be controlled, exposed the manipulations, and reclaimed her truth. Fans are still shocked, emotions ran high, and the family remains divided as the fallout continues to unfold. But the real question now is, what happens next? Will the producers face accountability, or will the drama continue to spiral behind the cameras? Now it's your turn. We want to hear what you think about Rasheeda's bold move. Do you believe she did the right thing by standing up against the producers? Or was it too risky to challenge the system that made her famous? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and tell us which moment shocked you the most. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button to show your support for honesty and courage in the world of reality TV. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Exclusive, behind-the-scenes stories, and shocking revelations from your favorite shows. Every week we bring you the drama, the twists, and the truth that everyone else is too afraid to share. And remember, this is only the beginning. Rasheeda has opened the door, but the story is far from over. Your voice matters. Join the conversation, share your theories, and stay tuned as the fallout continues to unfold. Fans are watching, emotions are running high, and the truth is out there waiting to be uncovered. Don't miss a moment. Like, comment, and subscribe now. The drama is just getting started.